All right, here on Gun Talk Hunt, we're talking with Greg Ray of Outdoor Solutions, and there's a poem about a squirrel and a kumquat.
Hey, I'm KJ, dedicated lifelong hunter here. If you got an interest in all things hunting, you're in the right spot. Whether chasing quail across the plains of Oklahoma or in pursuit of elk in the backcountry of British Columbia, you'll always find me on the hunt.
All right, welcome in all you Gun Talk hunters. I am your host, KJ, and I'm not wearing a flat brim hat today, so that's good for most viewers out there because apparently people hate that, and I don't know why. It's been my thing forever, but today I'm rocking the old Gun Talk hat. So today we're going to, you know what? I probably better do my sponsors of this show, this wonderful show, justice, and let you all know that we are brought to you by Ruger and Range Ready. All right. So our guest today, and I'm going to mix it up a little bit because why not? And we have allowed AI to write a short poem about Greg Ray and Outdoor Solutions. So I asked our producer, Paul, to come up with the most random thing he could think of, and he came up with kumquat. So I have to work that into a poem. All right, here's an ode to Greg Ray and Outdoor Solutions. In the woods where legends roam, Greg Ray built his outdoors home, a guide, a master, a sharer of skill with Outdoor Solutions. He climbs every hill. Amid the pines where shadows curl appeared a feisty little squirrel with a kumquat held tight in his tiny claws. It stopped Greg's trek with nature's laws. That squirrel chattered, bold and spry, "Greg Ray, your aim makes arrows fly. Your rifles ring, your hunters thrive. But can you match my squirrely drive?" With a grin, Greg tipped his hat. "Little one, let's see about that." He raised the scope. The world went still. Precision unmatched, showcasing his skill. The kumquat soared. The squirrel leapt high. Outdoor Solutions watched under the sky. "Your aim supreme," the squirrel declared. "Greg Ray, no match could be compared." And so the woods sang songs of lore of Greg Ray's ventures and hunts galore. With a squirrel as his witness, a kumquat in play, the legend grew stronger of mighty Greg Ray.
How can you not love AI?
Thank you, AI. That is like the best introductions for Greg Ray of Outdoor Solutions. Welcome in, brother.
That is awesome. Out of all the podcasts that I've done, this is the best intro ever.
Dude, I was sitting here and I had my computer up and I was like, man, I bet AI could write one heck of a description of Greg Ray because you've really done it all, man.
I love it.
But yeah, I came up with squirrel and I had Paul, our producer, come up with kumquat. I told him, I was like, dude, what is the most random thing off the top of your head you could come up with right now? He wanted more context, but I wouldn't let him have it. And he came up with kumquat. I was pretty impressive.
I've never thought about my hunting career being defined by a squirrel and a kumquat.
I know.
That was not on the bingo card.
It's not on the bingo card, but it's there now. So
All right, it is now. It was very, very good.
Welcome in, man. So what have you been doing? I know show season is really kind of tapering down, but your busy season is just now cranking up.
Yeah, exactly. So we've trade show season still going on. We leave on Monday to head to Utah, Salt Lake City for Western Expo. So we will be there for that one. We've actually upped our trade show game a little bit. We're doing one in April, two in August, and I think there's another one in there as well. But yeah, busy season is ramping up. So March we will kick off with a from field to table event in Texas, followed by 2 or 3 long range classes, and then it just keeps going through. Actually, even the summertime. Usually we kind of get the summertime off, but we even have events going on in August this year.
Really? Where are they held somewhere cool? Hopefully?
They are Gillette, Wyoming.
Oh my gosh. That's
man,
I've been
ranch.
there. I've been there in August and it's brutal.
In Gillette?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, different kind of brutal than Tulsa, Oklahoma.
That is true. That is true. Well, give us a background of Outdoor Solutions, because when you kind of first started this, it didn't. It seems like it has evolved so much and it has grown so much that it's hard to keep up with everything that you guys do right now.
Yeah, you have to. So you and I go way back.
Yeah.
We're back to the Blue Heron days. You noticed
Yes.
my coasters back there, which is a PR agency that helped keep us in front of people that we needed to be in front of to promote the business. And that's going. I mean, that's going way back. We started in October of 2004. So last year we had our 20th anniversary of being in business. And back then we were primarily a booking service. So we've got a network of outfitters that we've worked with for pretty much since the beginning.
Okay.
Uh, uh, North American big game is really our bread and butter, but we do a little bit of everything. We do some fishing, we do some stuff out of the country, but we would just match people up with outfitters based off of their criteria. And we still do that. That's still a large part of our business. So we'll book hunts and fishing trips for clients. They go to our website or a lot of repeat business too, and they want to, go on an elk hunt. Lindsay, our hunt manager, will ask them the right questions and then get them matched up with the appropriate outfitter. And then we take care of everything from there with their tags and their license and their gear and getting there, all that fun stuff. But where we started evolving, and it was getting really close to around the time that we started working with with you and Blue Heron back in the
Yeah.
day was around 2010, 2011, we started our long range shooting schools. And we started those in Utah. Those started out of a necessity because we would book people on our hunts and we would book people from Pennsylvania, Ohio, Kentucky, Illinois. Well, they would want to go out west and they would want to hunt antelope and mule deer and elk. And some of those states don't even have rifle seasons. They've got
No.
muzzleloader and slug gun. And so we would prep them for their hunts and tell them, it's like, hey, man, you've got to be prepared to shoot out to 400 yards. And well, I'm shooting a slug gun. We don't do that here. 50
Yeah.
yards is an average shot for what we do. So we saw a need there. Actually, I'll tell you a quick story. And this is one of my favorite ones. I had a guy, I was actually prepping him for a New Mexico antelope hunt and told him he was from Pennsylvania. I said, hey, you need to be prepared to shoot out to 400 yards. And he's like, hell, I didn't even know bullets went that far. So he was joking, of course, but anyway, that was a very long time ago, and it just kind of stuck with me. But
Well,
anyway, so that's just kind of evolved over the years, and the long range schools themselves are set up specifically for hunters. We're getting them ready for a hunt. It's a 3 night, 2.5 day experience. So they're stuck with us, and we immerse them in long range shooting for 3 days.
well, and yeah, I mean, that's a growing thing right now is the long range precision shooting. Man, any time now, I used to be that guy who was like, man, I would never take a shot over X. Like whether it was, it depends on what I was doing. It would change. Like I would never had a set like distance at which I was like, in any condition I would take a 400-yard shot. It always kind of changes given your conditions, how much you've been shooting at those distances. But anymore, man, 400 yards is almost a standard in which you need to hold yourself to. And, used to you'd be like, well, if I could shoot a pie plate, at 100 yards offhand, I'm good for a ways. It's not the same anymore. Like everything's changed.
It's a lot different. So our level one class, it's out to 1,000 yards. That's on steel, and we even say in our promotional pieces, we're not advocating at shooting at animals at 1,000 yards. There's people that could do it, and they could probably do it every time. That's not what we advocate. What we're teaching people is that you learn to shoot at that steel target at 1,000 yards, which is just a small part of the class. Whenever that 300 yard, 400 yard, 500 yard shot presents itself, you're going to be a lot more educated. You're going to know what your capabilities are. You're going to be a more ethical hunter, and we're going to have less wounded animals. And that's what the class is for. And it's not just coming sitting on a bench
Yeah.
and pulling the trigger, kind of like what you just said. We used to, the pie plate, the paper plate was always kind of the standard. You hit it, yeah, hey, I'm good to go. And it's completely different now. And so we work on a lot of things. Of course, all your basics. We actually have a course. We did an ebook with a video series that is basically shooting 101. And it just covers all things, how to do a proper cheek weld, trigger
Yeah.
squeeze, eye relief, breathing, trigger squeeze, just just a lot of the basic stuff. So we spend a lot of time on that because if you don't
Yeah.
have that foundation, then it's kind of like building on the house of cards analogy.
Man, I mean, shooting instinctively and like we're seeing more shooters because we do a range ready here and it's way different than what you guys are doing. But what is interesting is we hear that all the time. Well, I shoot like I'm a shooter. My granddad taught me how to shoot and I've been shooting my entire life. Well, man, it just things have shifted so much where precision really matters. It matters more now than anything. And that's with gear. But man, it all starts, you're right, with those fundamentals. And I had a guy sit there and try to convince me that it's okay as long as the gear is good, your fundamentals aren't all that don't need to be all that precise. And man, I went back to him and said, "Look, I've taken multiple long range classes, multiple, and they all teach like almost the same thing, but it's all basics. It's all fundamentals where you sit there and you go, their marketing will say, "Oh, you're going to learn all this," but it's all fundamentals. Like if you can master those, you're good.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So with what we do when we go out on hunts and we're in camps with our clients, and that's not all the time. We don't actually go on every one when we send people
Right.
out, but we also hear from our outfitters, and you'll get guys that will show up with a $8,000, $9,000 Gunworks, which we use Gunworks in
Oh,
our
yeah.
classes as one of the manufacturers, but they think that's all
Beautiful.
they need. They don't have to spend. I got a $9,000 gun. I don't point it and shoot, and they win more animals than anybody else because they don't spend the
Dude,
time working on what you just said.
I will say this. I used to be that guy. I used to be the guy who said, you know what? If it's more expensive, it's got to be a better shooter. And it never helped. I always encountered the same problems. It wasn't until I started taking classes like an outdoor solutions class that I started to realize it's not it's not the arrows, it's the Indian. Like that's what makes it work. That's all that it is.
Yep. Yeah.
So,
No. 100%. And that is a prime example of why our classes are 3 nights, 2.5 days.
yeah.
Too, because you're not going to pick it up in just one day.
I wish your class was a week long because the amount of information that you guys are dumping onto folks is the amount of information. I wouldn't say dump, the amount of information that you are providing and the professionalism that you're providing, you could really learn even more in a like 5 day class. But the amount that you're going to walk away going, oh my gosh, there's so much more out there. That's how I feel.
There is. So here's one of the things that we do to combat that because we hear that a lot. So we do a couple of things. One, we produce a ton of videos and we put them on our YouTube channel. And we actually send them like that ebook that I was just talking about. We
Mhm.
actually send that to them before they go to the class. So they're kind of pre-prepped, but then they can use that as a follow-up as well.
Yeah.
Then the other thing that we do that we're really, really good at, it costs us a lot. The long range classes are not inexpensive, but we have by far the best instructor to student ratio out there. So I don't have one instructor taking care of 10 guys on the
Man,
field. So
that's
our
huge.
our max class is on our level one is 14 students. So that means that there's seven on the line at one time. For those seven, I'm going to have a minimum of three instructors that are on the line.
Wow.
A lot of the times I'll have four. So
Okay.
it's a 2-to-1 or even better ratio because we get a lot of people that are brand new to this. Like they show up, they haven't bought their first rifle yet. And that's why we provide everything. So we provide the firearms, the optics, the ammo, and it's all top quality stuff. I mean, just some of the best of the manufacturers. Doesn't mean it's all super expensive like the gunworks I was talking about. We have production line stuff too, from um, Browning, Remington, Benelli,
Yeah.
and then you go on up into some of the others, the Fierce's, Christensen Arms, Gunworks, Altera,
Yeah.
Seekins. So there's a lot of them there, and then the optics. We're just using factory ammunition. We partner with Federal, so we've got it's not hand loads or anything, just to show that you can just go buy something right from your favorite uh, sporting goods store, buy you a box of ammo
Mhm.
and replicate what we're doing on the
Well,
range.
I mean, if you think about it, like that's the best way to do it is to do it almost as a ground up because show them what is capable. But it sounds like you guys are providing them enough information to hang themselves. Because if you wave a Gunworks rifle in front of me, I'm probably going to go, wow, I'm going to have to like spend some money. I'm going to have to get rid of some stuff because I want that gun because it is if your fundamentals are right, and this could be true on along line of guns. You were talking about Browning, you were talking about Seekins, you were talking about Savage, all of those guns, they have the capabilities to do the same thing that high level gun does.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a matter of bells and whistles and what you like. And if you shoot something enough, and this isn't anything against a production model, everybody's got different budgets, and
Yep.
so if you take that, like you mentioned, Savage, so you take that Savage, yeah, it's going to do the same thing as Gunworks. Now it may not, you know,
It's
shoot in
not
the
going to
same
be
hole.
this.
Exactly, but it's going to kill animals.
Oh, yeah.
And if you shoot it a lot, it may not be as comfortable and may not last as long.
Yep.
There's some different things like that. But at some point, there is a diminishing point of return. At some
Right.
point, is that
Oh, there is.
extra $3,000 that you just spent going to make me that much better?
Yep.
Probably
You're,
not. But it's
you're
got some
right.
comfort. It's got some comfort features.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is always nice.
Yeah, not any different than, I drive an F-250 and I get from point A to point B, but I could also
Could you do it in a little smart car? Yeah, you could.
hard to halt
But
elk in a smart car, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, I would love to see that. I bet there is a meme out there with that on it.
There's maybe
Guaranteed.
even a YouTube video.
There probably is. All right. Hey, we're gonna take a real quick break here. And when we jump back in, man, I want to hear some new shooter stories because those always entertain me. Because I used to be one. All right, all that with Greg Ray from Outdoor Solutions right after this. All right, we're talking about one of my absolute favorite hunting suppressors. This one is developed for that backcountry guy. That's the banished backcountry. So, if you want to be stealthy in the field, you got to go lighter. You got to go smaller. We understand that. That's where the banished backcountry really steps up. Designed for the ultimate portability and maximum noise reduction, the banished backcountry suppressor ensures you stay quiet and undetected in the wilds. Silencer Central makes it effortless to own because it delivers right to your doorstep. This is the beauty of what Silencer Central does. They contact you, you contact them, like you get it bought, you get everything taken care of, and one day you get a little email that says, you know what? Your suppressor is on the way, and that's when it shows up on your door, and you can rest easy knowing that you will be quiet in the field. Hunt smarter and quieter with the banished backcountry. Visit silencercentral.com to start your journey. It's time to prepare for the shot of a lifetime. Whether you're a seasoned hunter or new to the sport, preparation is key. I preach it all the time. At Range Ready Studios, we offer the training you need to make that shot of a lifetime. Chris Serino is on staff, and he has a host of instructors on hand to provide personalized trainings in state-of-the-art facilities and practical exercises that build your confidence and skills. From precision marksmanship to quick target acquisition, we've got you covered. Don't leave your success to chance. Visit Range Ready Studio. Unmatched precision with the Ruger American Gen 2. In the heart of the wilderness, precision matters. Ruger introduces the American Gen 2 rifle. Designed for hunters who demand excellence, the Ruger American Gen 2 offers enhanced accuracy, smooth bolt action, and durable design. It's the perfect companion for any hunting expedition, providing reliable performance every time you pull the trigger. Trust the Ruger American Gen 2 to deliver when it counts. Visit Ruger.com to learn more and find your next hunting rifle. All right, we're back with Greg Ray of Outdoor Solutions, not Outdoor Shooting Solutions, Outdoor Solutions. And you can find out more at outdoorsolutionscorp.com to learn how to become a better shooter, learn how to book your next hunt. They do a little of everything, but I really want to focus on, let's talk about some stories that you've had from the field. Let's start with the success stories because I think that's where we really kind of want to like pick up and show some of those success stories that you guys have had over the years. Are there any that stand out?
Oh yeah, yeah. One in particular. Before I start into that story, so our reward with what we do is somebody that comes in that's like brand new to shooting, not even just necessarily long range, but they come in and like you're showing them which end that you need to point down range and how to
Gosh.
load it, and then like you're going through the fundamentals, and they are so intimidated whenever they start, and they're visibly nervous. But all of our instructors, everybody on the team is just so cool. Even though they've got all the cool pedigrees, we've got the Navy SEALs and the Green Berets,
Yeah.
and we've got all the cool guys, but they know they're not in the military anymore. They all have, I started to say they don't have egos. They all have egos, but they keep
Oh
them in
yeah.
check. But they're just super nice. They're just really cool guys, and they love to instruct. But at the end of day three, seeing the confidence in that new shooter, and they're dinging that 1,000-yard target, or they're hitting targets from different positions that they didn't even know existed, and just seeing the confidence is huge. But one of my all-time favorite stories is actually he just called me the other day, and he came to class. It's probably been 6 years ago that he came to a class, and he called and booked two hunts with us. He said, "I want your absolute best elk hunt that you got." And he booked something else too.
Wow.
New Zealand red stag. So anyway, he books it, and we send him he lives in Texas, and we email him the paperwork and everything. Well, then he calls me. He's like, "Hey, I want to get that payment to you." He says, "I'm in Broken Arrow, which is where I live, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. Can I bring
Oh
it by
yeah.
your office?" Well, we office from home, and I don't want people coming to my house and say, "How
Right.
about I meet you at Bass Pro? It's right up the road." And so he's like, "Sure." So we met up. I pull up, and I actually get it. I'm sitting on the back of my tailgate, and I see this guy walking across the parking lot, long hair. He's got motorcycle leathers on. He's got patches all over it. And as he's getting closer, man, he's got like a bunch of earrings in his ear. And I'm like, "Yeah, this ain't my guy."
You're
And
like,
he's
no
like,
way.
"Yeah." He walks up and he's like, "Not what you was expecting, huh?" And I'm like, "Ken?" He's like, "Yep." I'm like, "Well, no, but hey, if you like to hunt, that's good with me." So we
Yeah.
visited for a little. I can't remember which. He was like one of the big wigs in like a major motorcycle gang. It wasn't the Hells Angels, but it was another one that was like along those
Yeah.
lines, And anyway, he booked that hunt, and then we started talking on the phone, and I was like, "Dude," I said, you really need to come to a long range school class," because he just spent, I forgot what it was, like 15 grand. It was like
Yeah.
at that time the top of the elk hunts that we had. And so he's like, "Oh man, I just spent all this money." And he's like, "Oh hell, what's another 3 grand?" So he comes to our class, and I actually ended up teaching him personally.
Okay.
And at this point, he had gotten his hair cut already. Most of the, I think either all or most of the earrings were gone. Anyway, he told me, he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "Man, was definitely part of a bad group of guys." He said, "I still like to ride, but he says I needed to get away from that stuff." And I don't remember if he was like president of the chapter or something like that.
So he turns
And
to hunting.
yeah, so he turns to hunting. It's of course in the back of my mind thinking, how does I wonder how he got all this money? Because motorcycle
Right.
gang maybe not legit. And so anyway, he's like, he says, "I lost my wife just not too long ago."
Yeah.
And he said, literally in her hospital bed, he said she handed me an envelope, and he opened it, and inside was a insurance policy. And she said, "This money, whenever I go, is for you to do your dream hunt. That's all you can spend it on. You can't spend it on anything else." Her name was Laura. And I was like,
Dude.
"Dude, that's freaking amazing." So Laura passed away, and he has a necklace with kind of a medallion thing on it that has some of her ashes in it. And on that hunt, he took her ashes.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
anyway, at about 8 o'clock in the evening, this is uh, a couple of months later, I get a phone call, and it's Ken. And he's like, "Dude, I did." He's like out of breath. And he's like, I did. I did it. I dropped it 547 yards.
Holy
And then it
crap.
rolled all the way down at the bottom. He's on the mountain. He had just shot it. That was his first phone call. And he starts crying. I get teared up. And he's like, man, I got it. I knew exactly what to do. And I dropped it with one shot. And he was just ecstatic. And anyway, we've stayed in touch over the years after that. And like I said, he literally just called me last week. And I hadn't talked to him it's probably been 7, 8 months
Dude,
since
that's
I've talked to him.
awesome.
But he's one that definitely stands out. And then there's other stories of people that have just, they've made incredible shots. They've gotten awesome animals and, a trip of a lifetime kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Ken's story is definitely one it's going to be hard to top.
See, I don't know. And I prep like this. I prep exactly how Greg is telling you right now is if I'm going on a major hunt, I am going to go get tuned up by somebody, not myself. I'm having someone else watch me. And I think that's one of the reasons I think adding on a shooting portion or a shooting training program like Outdoor Solutions has done is is pretty brilliant because if you're going on that hunt of a lifetime, why the hell would you not get tuned up and be ready and be confident in the gear that you're shooting? I don't understand that.
I'll tell you another real short story. So we had another client that had they had just booked elk hunts with us, and he had gone to the same place 3 years in a row, missed all three. Actually, I take that back. He missed 2 of the years. 1 year he didn't take the shot because he wasn't comfortable with it. And it wasn't like super far. It was like 400
Right.
and something, but he wasn't comfortable with it. And so Lindsay, our big game manager, told us like, you need to go to a long range class and get prepped. And so finally, the fourth year he did, he came to a class and he got his elk. So yeah, and that's one of the things that we do in the classes too is we teach we have you learn or practice like what the real world scenario is going to be. It's not just sitting
Yeah.
on a bench. So the first day is, but then the second day, one of our properties, we've got 3 miles of the Caprock Canyon, and we've got 3D animal targets scattered all throughout the canyon. And so you're having to glass form
Yeah.
and find them. They have steel vitals behind them. So whenever you connect, if you hit the vitals, you'll get that report back. If you just
Yeah.
hit it in the backside or a leg or something, you're not. But you're shooting off your shooting sticks, off your backpack prone, off of some deadfall or natural terrain. We just try to replicate hunting scenarios
Yeah.
the best we can without live animals.
So what's the hardest thing for people to learn? You can't
Wind.
say wind. You can't
I
say
just
wind.
did.
No. I knew that was what you were going to say because that's still the hardest thing for me to get, man.
Yeah.
Like aside from wind, what I should have rephrased it like that.
So I really think the hardest thing is really for the experienced hunters. The new shooters coming in don't have any bad habits. So the
Yeah.
hard thing is the experienced shooters coming in and breaking their old habits. I've got a buddy, Mike, a longtime hunter. He's been hunting longer than I have, and he's a decent shot. He's a pretty good shot. But he's not as good as he thinks he is. But and I hope
I
he
hope he
hears this.
listens to this.
Yeah, I hope he does too. But anyways, like, dude, he says, I'm doing something wrong. I don't know what it is. And we were going on a hunt together. He was actually bringing a group to Texas. And so we went to the range and I just set my camera. Actually, I think I just had my phone and I videoed him. And all he was doing is getting behind the scope. And I think we're only shooting a couple hundred yards. Boom. And he's looking up over the top of the scope. He's not following through at all. He's not staying in his gun. Boom. And he's popping up. So I just videoed it. He's like, so what do you think? And I just showed him the video and he was like, oh, he knew exactly what it was. He was like, oh, I'm not following through at all.
Yeah.
So he stayed down his gun and he got back on track. And but we've had instances I've actually had a guy literally argue with me, and I'm not a know-it-all. I've learned from our instructors. They have forgotten more than I will
Yeah.
ever know. But I've learned some stuff from these guys. I literally had one guy argue with me on our day 2 stuff at our Utah location. He's a real tall dude. I'm 6'6" or so. He was a really
Yeah.
big guy. And so we're shooting off of a tripod in a sitting position, and so he's big, and so he's doing this. He's crouching his neck way over to get to his butt. So I was like, "We need to raise your sticks up." No, I need to lower it down. I'm like, "No, you don't." And he's like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "I got this. I got this." Yeah, and so I'm like, "Okay." Well, on the day 2, we give them 2 shots at each target, because at an animal, most of the time you're not going to get more than two shots unless it's a really dumb animal. So he has two shots, and I just took his shooting signal. Okay, you need to go into the next station. And he went on, did his thing. Well, then we moved to different stations. And at the next station, he came up. He was like, "You're right." He's like, "I'm sorry about that." He's
I
like,
mean,
I don't know what I was thinking. All it was just building his position up
yeah.
a little
Yeah,
bit.
that's one of the
So,
hardest things for people to get used to, I think, too, is building a solid position, especially, you're talking about longer range shooting. You'll have a little bit of time. Those
mhm.
those elk aren't right on top of you, mule deer aren't right on top of you. So, your time to build a solid shooting position using everything you have within your reach and grasp and your pack and everything else, your hunting buddy, like you can use your guide. Like, man, building that position is one of the most detrimental things that you can do before the shot.
Yep, yeah, 100%. But yeah, so to answer your question, it's the guys with that have been doing it for a while that have some habits, and
Yeah.
getting them out of their habits is probably
Man,
the hardest thing.
it's hard to break those habits that you've groomed for so long. That's one of I'm still dealing with some issues. I mean, and when you're my dad, like when I was growing up, like the first pistol I ever shot was a 45
Oh, geez.
ACP. And I was probably like 11 years old. I had no business, at my size, like I had no business doing that. And like
That's too much gun for a little guy.
way too much gun. And
Yeah.
that's why, man, like when I take my kids out or something, like I want to instill confidence. I want them to come back out and do it. So I'll start them slow and I'll get them into it. And man, I have so many bad habits that I need to get out of, but every training class is an opportunity for me to get those out of my head.
Well, and you
Just is.
can, and as many classes as you've been to, I know you can attest to this. So, uh, a lot of them, like you said, teach the same thing, but each instructor, like each one of our instructors, is different. You'll pick up a different tip from a
Yeah,
different instructor, even going back to the same class that maybe you did the year before. You
you're
just pick up
right.
some little something. So
You're
the one thing that I think that's probably seems to be the hardest for most people is the grip that we teach. Because most of, especially if you're shooting a big, 300 Win Mag or 20, that gorilla grip on it, man, you're
Yep.
hanging on to it. So get them to relax, and we teach them to roll that thumb over onto the side and point it down with the barrel. And it's
But
awkward, it
but
feels
but
it's
Greg, this
uncomfortable.
thing's gonna kick.
Yes, yeah,
I don't want it to eat
exactly.
me.
Yep. So we teach them how to manage recoil with that. But that's probably the biggest one. And some people it just won't work for. We're not trying to make them shoot exactly how I shoot or how Steve
Right.
shoots or that kind of thing. If wrapping that thumb over works for them, then it works for them. That's fine. We
Yeah.
just show them another option. But that seems to be the most uncomfortable for them.
So so let's say someone's listening to this and what if they don't book a hunt with you? Can they still take the long range courses?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
See?
So we have people come that aren't even hunters. They just love to shoot, and they
Yeah.
want to learn. They want to learn some new techniques. We have people that are just curious. Just man, I want to shoot out to 1,000 yards, or our next level class we shoot out to a mile. So yeah, absolutely, they can just come and learn for the fun of it, or if they have their own hunt booked, which we get a lot. We get a lot of DIY people. They're going somewhere and doing a hunt on their own,
Yeah.
and they just want to be prepared. And that's one of the things that we do also, even if it's not booked with us, we'll ask them like, hey, are you prepping for a specific hunt? Because we may give them some different tips if they're hunting for mule deer in some steep angled high country versus if they're hunting for an antelope in a sagebrush flat.
Yeah.
So
That's
there's going to be
interesting.
some different shooting positions.
Man, don't go to his website. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you that right now. Don't go to outdoorsolutionscorp.com. Don't go. If you like hunting big game, you're gonna see everything from African plains game, alligator, antelope, aoudad, black bear, caribou. I mean, and like from A to Z, you've got everything in there. I mean, you've got wolf hunts, Uriel, like you've got everything, man. Like, and I'm looking at this going, ooh, I want one of those.
I still do that.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
hey, do they invite you on the hunts? Like, do you get to go on these hunts?
Yeah, so that's what I was just going to say. The cool thing is about every outfitter that we represent, either myself or Lindsay has been there. So we've been there, done that. So Lindsay
Yeah.
has been with us. We started the company in 2004. He's been with us since 2006. He knows that side of he runs that whole side of the business. He knows it way better than I do. So and he's been
Man.
to a lot of them, and then I've been to quite a few of them as well. So
And I'm telling you, it's not only big game, it's turkey, it's upland, it's waterfowl. Like, man, you guys have got a lot of options. So let's say there's an outfitter out there. Let's say there's an outfitter who listens to this channel. Thank you, by the way. There's probably one out there. But can they become part of your network? And how would they do that? Like how does that work?
yes, yeah, absolutely. So we're actually looking for good, solid outfitters. And so, yeah, absolutely. Get on our website, give our office a call, and I will talk to you personally on the phone, or Lindsay will, and find out if more than likely it is something we need. Inventory is a thing that is an issue that we run into now because doing this for
Okay.
20 years, our repeat business is really, really high. Lindsay is his customer service is second to none. And so our repeat business is extremely high. And yeah, so we're always looking for good outfitters. It takes a little bit to get them onboarded because unless it comes from a very solid referral, then we're going and paying them a visit before
Yeah.
we start sending clients there.
Man, you guys got it all. I mean, and you guys, so some of the training courses they've got coming up is Built to Hunt Summit in 2025. That's June 5th through 8th in Preston, Idaho.
That's a
That looks
brand
really
new
good.
one. That's
That's a
brand new.
that looks
So
really fun.
we this one's going to be a blast. We've never done this one before. We partnered with Hunt and Fool on
Hmm.
that one, which they've been around forever as well. And this is going to be an introduction to all things Western hunting. So our team, starting from day one, and we haven't talked about this yet. We have a program called From Field to Table. We have three
Yep.
chefs on our team, and we can talk about more than a minute if you want to. But
Oh yeah.
when clients show up, it's going to be in Preston, Idaho. Beautiful, beautiful ranch. Everybody's going to bring their hunting, their camping gear, their hunting gear, whatever that they would stay overnight in. We do have some cabins there, but honestly, most of our staff and sponsors, and we have media there as well. We'll have some TV channels, or some TV shows, some YouTubers, some outdoor writers. Will be there. Do you know a guy?
I know a
He's like,
guy.
I know a guy. Maybe we need to have you come out. Um, anyway, it'll start with our chef. The very first thing that we're going to do is Chef Albert is going to show everybody how to field dress and skin a deer from a chef's perspective. So that'll be the first thing that we do. Onyx is going to be there. Is going to be one of our partners in this. We will do an East event as well. Sorry, it's just guard dog.
That's good.
Um,
That's good to have those. That's good. No, you're doing land navigation,
yep,
no electronics. You're going to
yep,
learn that. You're going to learn firearms, long range shooting instructions. So that's kind of standard what you guys do. Optics mounting and maintenance, pack setup and gear selection. That's huge.
yep. But yeah,
You are
most
going this and this class is only like 1900 bucks.
$1950, and that includes all your food, all your meals too.
And and then wild game processing, which you use, and then Western application strategy. So you're not only learning like what to do on your hunt, but how to select those units. And Onyx helps with this too. And I'm glad to see you got my gosh, dude. Hey, if you have not filled out your media list, I am in.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, let's definitely talk.
But that is a really cool way to do it. How many spots do you guys have open for these typically?
So uh, I think we're allowing a total of 30 that includes media. Excuse me. And I don't know, we've got probably, I bet we have a dozen to 15 spots available
That's cool.
right now. So, and you can
That's
sign up right from the website. But yeah, we're really excited about this. It's just mini seminars. Through you are going to get your money's worth. Don't come here and think you're just going to be able to chill out. You're going to be tired
well,
when this is
and
over.
if I remember, like just a heads up, like when you go to one of these events, when companies that Greg aligns himself with, usually you're not walking home empty-handed. You're getting the knowledge, but the companies that usually go to these tend to like you get a little bit of swag with these.
We've got some amazing partners that we've had. We've been partnered with Zeiss, Benelli, and Federal for years and years and years for a
Yeah,
very, very long time. But yeah, so we're going to have some competitions, and there'll be the opportunity for people to be able to win some stuff. But yeah, you're
that's cool.
100% right. Whenever they show up, they'll have some nice little bonus gear for them to take home with them.
My gosh. Like I love that you have Texas Hunters prep course on here. I
Hmm.
love that. And that's in Spur that you got the level 1 long range shooting school, which you can take that class every year. You can
Yep.
take it every stinking year and you are going to pick up something new. And my gosh, dude, you're absolutely killing it, man.
Dude, those are so much fun. And that facility that you just mentioned, the one in Spur, Texas,
Yep.
brand new. We just did our first complete year last year. We've got 10 brand new cabins. They're 400 square foot, two queen beds in each one, private bathroom in each one. And then we have our chefs there taking care of all your meals too. So you
Dude,
show up, firearms, optics, ammo, everything's there.
dude, you're not offering long range shooting like schools. You're offering long range shooting retreats.
It's an
Like
experience.
it's a retreat. You can do this with your family. You can do this with your wife. And I'm going to tell you right now, Valentine's Day is upon us. What better way to get what you want and to provide her with a new experience?
There you go. Hey, I like the way you think.
See? All right. Greg, man, I really do appreciate you hopping on with us. And even though your shooting skills were definitely tested by a squirrel and a kumquat,
You've got to send me the written version of that.
I'll send it to you, man.
Man, KJ, I appreciate it. It's always good to see you, and I'm sure we'll be talking more soon.
Oh yeah, where can they learn more? What social platforms are you guys on? Where can they find out more about outdoor solutions?
So we're most active on YouTube. We've got a lot of really, really cool stuff coming up. I now have Steve Arian, who's our director of training, is back here full time. He's been over in the sandbox in Iraq for the last 6 years. He's back here. This dude, anything that you want to know about any firearm, ballistics, optics, anything, he'll make your eyes glaze over. I do the more 101 kind of videos. I'm a pretty basic kind of guy.
Yeah.
And so I explain things that way. But YouTube, we are the most active in just put in outdoor solutions. On Instagram, we have two pages there. One
Okay.
is Outdoor Solutions Official. And then for our field to table events, which is the butchering, processing, and cooking portion of the company with our chefs, is OS underscore from field to table. And
Okay.
then, of course, we're on Facebook too.
OS underscore field to table.
Correct.
Man, that's awesome stuff, man. I'm so happy. I'm so happy we've become friends like over the years. Like it's been amazing. I mean, we're going on 17 years, I think,
It
which is
is. It's
crazy.
been a long
But a
time.
lot more gray in that beard and a lot more gray in this hair.
Yeah, I got gray here and none up here.
Yeah. It's retreating. All right, brother. You be good, man.
You too. It's good to see you, KJ.
Good to see you. All right, all you gun talk hunters, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction and always be on the hunt.